Welcome to Fireside Chat with the Queen, Ziegler Aqua Vitae. This is episode 1, where we're doing this so that way the people in the nation have a capability to have their voices heard, regardless of if it can be achieved or if we can do what you need. We're here for you. So
this is my royal advisor, former Queen, now Dowager Queen Andros, Cerulean Cross.
Yes, retirement's good.
House of the Blue Worm. How's retirement treating you?
It's good.
Good.
It's really fucking good.
Trying to angle in for that increased stipend. Is that why you're here?
I just want more dog pounds. That's all I'm asking. More dog pounds.
So. You hear that? The Queen needs a bigger stipend.
More money. More money.
It's a hard knock life. Being a crown.
It's just hard having so many expenses.
I know. So many.
So I recently posted a post a few days ago, I think 2 days ago now, asking for people to go ahead and send in their questions, be it a complaint, be it whatever it may be, and we got a lot of responses, which was awesome, and we have taken the time to go through them, and we are ready to answer your questions. Yeah.
We've had a handful that came in the last minute or so, last couple hours, so I don't have all of prepared answers, so some of these you'll get off the cuff. Yeah. Yay! Do we want to start with the ones I do?
Yeah, let's start with the first one, so let me read it to you.
And then you can hand my phone back. My spell book.
Yes.
I'm a queen of many talents.
Someone said, hashtag not my queen.
Still my crown, hashtag.
Cheers to that.
We encourage everyone to drink along.
It is Tuesday.
See if you can catch up and keep up.
So second question that came in was, for those who feel you're doing your best to imitate the former Queen Andros, what is it that sets you both apart?
All right. This one has come up repeatedly in the past, but even during the campaign, and it annoys me to no end. So I want to address it, hopefully with some level of finality. I'm Ziegler. This is Andros. We are, in fact, separate people. While very close as friends and confidants, and we have worked closely together on many things, especially with me being his hand during his reign. But I've been working with the crown, former crowns before his, and now as queen, for a number of years to make the Crown an institution for the nation. That it has some, actual level of immersive effect in the gameplay, in the community, in the story, in our shared story in Sea Dog Nation, as well as an institution for the public good. The last few kings and queens have operated and basically come in to their crown with a mandate, a platform of things they would like to address and see changed in the community for the communal good. Safe Sex is Sexy, a highly successful campaign, and what we have free condom things at multiple camp bars.
Every year Louis Crayer goes out and gets
Sir Vince the Sober.
So he does it too? That's
his name.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're in character, Queen. Dowager. That was an amazing campaign and lots of success and community support. Monthly health tips, sex ed health tips was awesome. Lots of feedback, people responding that they were learning things that they had no idea about before, and just openness about having questions and getting answers.
It opened up a lot of things, and it made the community, I think, more aware, because what happened, as I saw, was that now people were talking about it, and things like consent were now bigger issues, because people were like, no more, this is serious, we got to be safe about this, we got to take care of each other.
There were things that came up, multiple levels, not just about sex, but consent in sharing drinks at camps. You know,
Right.
if someone needs to know what's in something, it's a health thing. I might have allergies. I might have issues. Someone might not respond to me well, and you don't want me drinking that at your party because I get into a fighty mess.
Mm-hmm.
Lulu, tequila.
Never.
Oh no, that's Dick. Don't give Dick tequila. Dick Beard gets all, I'm gonna fight you.
Oh, okay.
Keep that in your feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Don't give Lulu grain vodka.
Just don't give Lulu vodka.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But anyways,
That's the thing.
but essentially
Give her
it was
Tito's.
every crown has, like Ziegler's saying, every crown has come in and they've left their mark.
Yep.
And regardless of what I did, Ziegler's starting to leave his mark.
And one thing I don't want to... I think there's a lot of some of this imitation thing because I am continuing programs that started under... really successful programs that started under Andrus. I think the Royal Tour is a great strategy and tool for getting the community involved in the crown institution that represents them nationally. It gets them to get to know their monarchs and participate with their monarchs because it's not just something that a ship holds or a household holds. It's a national institution. Everybody in the nation should be able to approach the crowns and, you know, be able to have a conversation
I agree.
and participate, and that's important to me. And so, like, the Royal Tour instances like this is kind of new, but it's built on ideas that you started under your reign, and I think were great. And that accessibility is just infinitely useful. I'm all for it.
Modern working monarchy. That's the term.
Don't rebuild the wheel if you can just pick up the used car
Okay, let's move on to the next question.
or the used chariot.
Can you say your spell into your magic mirror there?
Yes, it's my birthday.
Okay. Next question that we got was, would you overthrow the corrupt governor Zorgon? We want no more sexual predators running our nation. Whoa. Whoa.
I had to pre-write a response to this, and because it is a very sensitive and important topic. If you see anyone, especially in a position of authority, do something that you believe to be illegal or unethical, report it. No ifs, ands, or buts, or questions about it. Report it. Report it to Constab. Report it to staff. Follow the chain of the process. It's important to respect the process because we have all volunteer staff. It's really important to give them the opportunity to allow them to do their jobs at first. And if you're not seeing, acceptable resolution to that issue, or it being handled, in a way that you think is best, then make a stink. But report it to staff, report it to Constab, write a letter to staff, or write a letter to the board, write a letter to the HR committee, and then follow up. Make sure that you get some kind of answer back about what is being done and what that resolution is, so it's not hanging in the wind. But don't start rumors.
Right.
Get it addressed and get that process started. And then once that's done, please be patient and wait, because if we start churning that rumor mill right afterwards, it makes it that much harder for the staff to do their job.
Don't throw gasoline
that much
on the
harder
fire.
For them to find the real information.
Yeah.
The real information out from,
the chaos.
the weeds here. But then if you don't see positive change, or if something gets drugged on their feet, fucking make a stink. Make an open public letter. Make it publicly aware. Put it on your social media. At that point, that's when you go full on no chill public. But respect the process first.
Right. Clearly, whoever wrote this question, you're very serious about this, because throwing names is a serious thing. So when you do that, I want you to know that we hope that if you feel this, that you take it to the.
For example, I have just recently written a letter to the board regarding one of their the board president, one of their members, and the behavior that they have demonstrated, and I believe it to be unethical. And I'm respecting the process. I want resolution, but I want to give them the time to do their job. And when they meet tomorrow at their regular scheduled board meeting, I'm hoping to get an answer about what is being done after that.
Right. All right. We're gonna move on to the next question because there's many. Next question. I'd like to know how the Crown would weigh in on something like the Thieves Guild. In-game and out-of-game responses requested, please. No comment is just fine. May not make sense for the Crown to back thieves. Thank you. I like this one.
Oh, I love this one. So, out of game, out of character, I think that the Thieves Guild is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is overdue for a group to come in and do something like this, and I think they have a genuine opportunity to affect positive change in the nation by becoming a group that helps cultivate and codify the rules to our little pirate game.
Right.
That can help oversee it and make sure that it functions as intended, that people's property isn't hurt. They've already started doing things like that by getting camps to do a kind of a camp totem that's gameable instead of random stuff.
Right.
I mean, I had the Widow Scourge's flag undone from their mast and delivered to me folded when I woke up with a cup of hot coffee in the morning one year.
If Captain Ava's listening to this...
She was the one that found me using it as a robe.
What? Oh, Lord.
That was post-Shackle Fest.
But I mean, this is also like the tavern that just recently come about too. It's a thing that enriches the community, and it makes it more than what some people believe to be just an aimless party, which I don't think it is. I think there's a lot to this community that...
I think that they have we're still out of character. I think there's a genuine opportunity there to really build on something that's a fantastic idea.
Yes.
And not just have fun with it, but do some good with it.
Yes. Enrich the world.
Yes. And then, in character, I wrote a fun little thing. This is a nation of pirates. Are you really surprised? Kind of comes with the territory. I mean, outside of being queen, the consortium fleet of mine is allegedly, where you might go to fence your booty for your ill-gotten gains. It's a sea dog eat sea dog world out there, and I just want my cut of meat. Hashtag business queen, hashtag humble merchant.
Don't come in the House of Blue Worm. We will find you, and we will hang you up to dry.
I know a certain Viking troop, you steal one of their shields off their wall, and they'll come with a 35-man raiding team at 8:30 in the morning.
Earl Dickbeard. All right, moving on. Next question for you, Your Majesty.
Cheers. This is fun. I like this. We should do...
I hope you guys are enjoying it.
We're going to be doing these, monthly?
Mm-hmm.
I may not be here for them, but we'll do fireside chats with the Queen.
Next question that came in was, how did the change occur from the Badlands to the Outlands? How do you plan to keep it? Because if you had been a part of the Sea Dog community for a really long time, the Badlands is what we call the
portion of site that is east of the tree line from the main dock site, area of site.
Usually now where they hold most of...
Where you can find the consortium fleet.
Them. And it's where they do a lot of slave auctions now. The Red Light District is out there.
Red Lantern District is no longer there.
Oh.
They are no longer in attendance.
I never got to go there.
Well,
that's the thing.
My fleet moved into their territory, so...
But what is... You're kind of now queen of the Outlands.
I am the queen from the Outlands. I've been in the new Outlands for a couple of years now. Fucking love it out there. These are my people. Oh, got rid of terrible influences to move in, and it's been great. Excited to help shape that community.
How did the name come about?
So, I think this might be one of the most exciting questions of the night for me personally. My fleet has spent time in a couple of different places on site. We spent a couple of years on the dock with the Vendetta, our original flagship. We spent a good many years right at the very end of Merchants Row and the dock, just like the huge 100 by 200 foot territory, a rectangle just to the west of the baseball diamond and field, for a long
I remember
time.
that.
That's where we did the shackle fasting. That's where we did the unveiling party. That's where we did.
That's when you guys still had the big white dome that sat there too.
Oh yeah, we had some fun stuff.
Oh, that was good times.
We were there for a good few years, but when we stopped wanting to put in all that work for these gigantic fucking parties every year, because we actually wanted to get out and enjoy other people's company and hospitality.
Why leave your camp?
Maybe go play some games, shit like that.
Yeah.
We kind of started winding down, and then we were like, if we're not here in this giant territory for any particular reason, let's move to where there's some shade. We found ourselves, after a couple of different areas to move, we found ourselves in the Badlands, and we love it out there. But one of the things that staying in these different areas of sight has given me over the years is perspective. I've camped, and before I started Fleet, I camped at other spots with the Criminal Dawn. When I was on that ship. I'm an original Dawn member, by the way. Hey guys, 4! That's a shout out. But
who is he calling a whore?
That's their battle cry.
Oh.
But it's given me perspective about some divisions and schisms in the community that have kind of reputationally happened over the years. Like over the berm, for a long time, and even to now, anybody over the North Berm tends to be kind of forgotten. They're great out there. Some of the most immersive camps are out there. The House of Blacks and the Orcs, they're just full on period, and it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. But there's a separation. There's that proximity separation, and they're seen as kind of an other of sorts. Worse than that was the Badlands, and the Badlands had started basically as a giant section of overflow that wasn't close to the main section of site, and was for general camping at first, and then groups started moving in and establishing themselves. And what had happened is that they didn't get any attention by the main staff, by certain organizers over the years, and they kind of got amalgamated together or just treated differently because they were out there and they weren't right in plain view. And I think that's wrong. It created, in my view, a bit of a schism about making them an other, saying they're less than here. They're out there. We don't have to worry about them as much. And having been in that area now for camping there for the last couple of years, I figured out from talking to everybody out there that they had a bit of a mentality that the main dock area was elitist, and that they shouldn't have to play by their games. But at the same time, we're all one community. Right. We should all be playing by the same game, the same rules. It's important to me that everybody plays by the same rules. We are a social club, and that process has to stay in place, or we can't grow as a community. So we got to heal that divide. So with the Badlands, it kind of got this reputation of being an other. That it kind of got a reputation out there of putting together its own little private Burning Man for inside of a pirate event, and less attention was paid to the immersion. More attention was paid to doing what they wanted. Like lots of electronic music out there, not period appropriate stuff in the spirit of the theme of the event. and I want to change that. And we have. We had one of the last two Dog of the Seas. Astrid Tallblood was Dog of the Sea from the Outlands. We have the Crowns, residents of the Outlands. We are killing it out there, guys. And I think that the reason I want this name change is I want to get away from this connotation of bad, and I want to get into this connotation of outlandish, outrageous, outstanding. Like,
I like that.
we're a different kind of other.
Mhm.
We're a cut above, and we prove it consistently.
I like that. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, I've chatted a bit about that one. I was excited. It's my favorite question.
Go out there, don't call it the Badlands, because I found out the hard way.
The king is all about it.
Yeah.
Like, he is. if you
If you
do
call
it,
that, he will.
He'll in character tell you that he's out to conquer it, and he's rechristened it under conquering because he is a barbarian demon king. But that's a thing.
Shit the bed.
Yeah.
Alright, what's the next one?
Somewhere in there. There's another one.
What are your thoughts on organizations popping up within the Sea Dog Nation like the Orcish Empire, the Viking Embassy, the City Ship? It's the newest one that came across that's in the Outlands. I failed on the name.
It's launching this year.
Right.
It's Kowloon.
Okay, thank you.
After the city.
La Maga tribe and such. It's getting a lot of all humans versus orcs versus Vikings versus demons up in here. And I'm actually curious on this one too, because when I started, there was definitely the orcs. Like, the orcs have been a part of this, like, world that we have for a long time. So, but everything new that's coming in is a little exciting. Like, I don't hate it. I don't know about you, but I don't hate it.
So, Queen has pour his own drink. Jesus.
I know.
What kind of place is this?
I don't have enough money.
What kind of
to have staff.
establishment are you running?
I don't have enough staff anymore.
So, this community is driven largely and purely on the contributions of the people that attend, right? It's a shared story that is driven by what the participants and members want to tell, right? There is intended to be a general theme adherence, but without a actual codified immersion policy, it's gonna run rampant. It's gonna do what it wants to do because there's no adherence to rein someone in against.
Right, but here's my argument against something like an immersion policy. Is I think of last year when I went to an SCA event. Yes, I agree with you, but it's a vast world. I mean, we're talking about a city of pirates, which never was a thing. Like, it just never, not to this size at least in history. And we're talking about, a time frame from 1630 up to like the 1700s. And
I should say
pirates,
my library for some learning.
Pirates have a lot of tales. That's like what they were. They were a very superstitious group. So mermaids, fairies, all that.
Then it's regional and worldwide, so there's different tales and sea shanty stories and whatnot. Sea stories by where you're at,
right? And
the different mythical beasts and perversions that were out at the sea.
Yeah.
But again, I'm in favor of at least some kind of like sounding rod pole of immersion. Like, even if you simply say the theme is pirates,
right?
We're going loosely to this time period,
right?
And then say loosely try, if you're going to kind of deviate from that, stick to like mythical things that are adhere to that the pirate mythology,
right?
But there's none of that. There's no written anything for someone to go in and say, well, what is the scope of the gameplay here? What's the scope of the story?
Right.
So it's going to be driven by whatever happens from the participants until they're reined in.
I guess you could say the answer to this question is until there's something
beautifully.
You can't really
there's a part of this that I do love. I am a fucking beast of chaos. Our entire fleet in the consortium is. I thrive on it. I love that these differing ideas get pushed together in unexpected ways, and they push and drive different camps. One camp might be super immersive next to one that isn't as much, but that drives that other camp to try and outdo or outplay or to step it up to another level or in another manner that you wouldn't have ever seen coming, which makes it just pure magic to me. It's why I fell in love with Sea Dogs over a decade ago on my very first night. Dressed up, walking down that goddamn dock, clickety clack 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 on my boot heels, and I was like, I am never not going to be a part of this community. It is too perfect. And I've loved seeing how it's developed over time. It's a chaotic mess. Yes, there's a lot of learning to do as a community, as a more formally organized community, especially now, which I think should have happened years ago. And we've seen major steps in that direction since since we truly organized 2 years ago. And it's like, it's chaos. It's a chaos. It's purely chaos world out there. And to parse a phrase, I'm going to climb that ladder. And certainly I've climbed it pretty high.
Chop it down while you got a chance.
Climbing it all the way. There's two more, the top two questions.
And then we'll have to. I know a bunch came in right before, so we'll
hop over to those.
Okay, let's see. Where was I? Oh, okay. All right, here's another sensitive one. Again, this is all hearsay between what he thinks, what I think, and so.
Well,
it is what it is.
Yeah,
How about that?
That's not all hearsay. I'm pretty well on the inside on this one.
Well, there you go. All right, how do you feel about Richard being voted off the board?
This one, I apologize, but I'm going to have to go to a written statement. But it is the Double Jeopardy question of the night. So pour up. If you're playing along, get ready, because this is where we get into the serious business time for Business Queen. We're drinking Apothic Dark, if anyone's giving a shit.
And this shit's good. Hands down, smooth as hell.
I mean, I was hoping to find a bottle of the Apothic Inferno to bring, because, aged in whiskey barrels, and that's just so delicious. But this is beautiful too. And I mean, it's a Reign of Darkness, so go nuts. I could probably spend all night on this topic alone. There is so much to say, and that I think should be said about it. I'm not shy about my opinions on the subject, or about the members who are representatives tasked with safeguarding and growing our community, as anyone that knows me or has spent any time with me will know. I don't want to lecture at anyone, so I'll at least say this. I think it was an incredibly poor decision, from both a business organizational management standpoint and from a personal standpoint. Richard was the most qualified and knowledgeable person on the board. He also demonstrated time and again to be an exemplification of the required care for detail, insistence on operating with transparency, and the values our community touts and champions constantly, like consent and safety. I know from personal experience that he can be terribly difficult to work with due to his aggressive and untactful communication style. I do think he could use significant improvement in that area, and that perhaps if he had been more tactful in the past, he wouldn't have shut down listening on the other side of the table, so to speak. But, that said, I appreciate that Richard says exactly what he means. He doesn't sugarcoat or shy away from difficult subjects or decisions. And he acknowledges, most importantly, when he has to adjust his thinking in light of new information. He can be brash. He can be very, very in your face, and he can be very passionately aggressive.
Exactly what he needs.
He will not. Yes, it can be in your face, and it can make you want to back away. But he's never going to say something he doesn't mean, ever, and he's never going to. You can trust that he's never going to get tactful, because if he has to be tactful, he is intentionally trying to manipulate you into something. And he does not like doing that. He likes when people can make their own informed decisions.
Right.
Which is 1,000% above board and transparent, which is something that is extremely important to him and that he has tried to champion as a member of the board for a long time and has gotten pushed back on. I believe the loss of his perspective on the board will be a severe detriment to the community. I also believe the recording of the BOD meeting dismissing him demonstrates a wide range of severe knowledge gaps of critical concepts, particularly of agency and constituency, board member duties, and official procedure by the other board members. The combination of which depressed my faith in certain board members' ability to adequately fulfill their roles for the community's well-being. While we are a social club, in order to best protect us so we can play the way we like to, we need effective and knowledgeable persons running operations. No working environment is going to be ideal. There's always going to be someone you're going to butt heads with because of communication issues. But you have to be able to set those issues aside, listen to what is being said, able to comprehend it, evaluate it, and act accordingly. I do not feel in any way that happened over the course of the past year of the BOD's activities, and I think it has culminated in what just happened this past Wednesday. And I think that despite the understanding that the board seems to be operational and talking again, I think that operating is not the end goal. Operating properly, operating at the best possible level is a thing, but if you're removing a voice of clarity and reason and transparency and knowledge because you don't like the way they communicate, or you don't like the fact that they are against supporting unethical decisions or practices, that's a huge deal. And I think that in the spirit of even Time Magazine's 2017, of the year, we're going to see a lot of things come to light over the next few weeks and months, and there's going to be some community uproar and outrage, and I've already submitted a letter to the board addressing the board specifically and seeking for certain change. Let's see what happens. I encourage, there's been more than one letter that's been written in. I hope to see lots more, and I hope to see them more frequently. And I hope to see the board take advice from knowledgeable persons and address some significant areas where they are lacking or operating not in the interest or with policies that are unethical. I know of a few, and I have sent in my advice to the board so they can get addressed.
Is that it?
I think there's one at the top.
So there's your answer. Whoever sent in that question.
Shots,
most definitely.
The first double Jeopardy question of the night. There's a couple of them. Mm-hmm. The new ones that came in right before the thing had a couple.
All right. This one's to you. Well, most of them are. But Why do you come across so disrespectful to members of the nation? Talking to you the night of your party, you were very rude instead of being welcoming to the nation.
I've got to take issue with that. For one, there was at least a certain number of people that thought the other way. Because I wouldn't be wearing this if I hadn't, or if I wasn't. I'm expecting that this person is asking about Tortuga Party, Wedge Party. I'm just assuming. That seems like it was only the last party I threw, and the one that seems most relevant to the discussion. Right.
And I'm going to weigh in on this real quick. And this is something I learned in my year. You cannot please everyone. It's impossible. And I literally killed myself many times trying to make every single person happy in the nation. And it's just hard. We got so many different people from so many different backgrounds. There's so many different... Who knows? You don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on with you. You could have had the fucking worst year of your life, and you come into the camp, and it's not us trying to be disrespectful or anything. It's just us being busy or something, and maybe we dismiss you. And
I don't know that if people know this, but running a wedge party when you're gunning for the crown is obscenely taxing, and more times than I can fathom. That night, I had standing room only. I could not get through my party without any kind of I basically wore a ninja suit so I could ghost through as fast as possible to direct people to where different activities were, to meet and greet as many people as I could that were coming in and direct them to where the bar was, where food would be, what the entertainment was for the night, where they could get their party stamp and token, where with our Sea Witch, where they could play other games.
Because your ultimate goal is to entertain. That's you're there to entertain and to host. And
I'm there to host.
It's hard. It's just hard.
We had a lot going on. I did the best I could, but ultimately, and I love people. Anybody that knows me has talked to me for a few minutes knows that I go above and beyond for people I hardly know. You know, you need help doing this thing? Yeah, I can help you with that, or I know who to hook you up with. Let me da.
A lot of the times, it's just, it's.
But I think maybe people.
I think people expect a lot.
There's a bit of that, but
they expect a lot.
I will say, I am one of the saltiest motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And that dichotomy can often come across as a really crusty asshole exterior. And if you're having a passing interaction, is not the same as, knowing me and saying, oh, that's just Ziegler being salty, versus, I actually give a shit once you get past that salt crust.
Yeah.
It's like good salt crust cooking. Like, it's real hard to get past it, and it's all super moist inside, delicious meat. I love to cook. Fuck shuts, get out of my kitchen. I'm working here.
Let's bring up the next one. Point blank is I truly don't think Ziegs ever meant to disrespect you.
Yeah. No.
I don't think he did. I don't think he meant to hurt your feelings. He is very welcoming, and at the end of the day, it is hard. It's demanding.
There is a extremely short list of people who are not welcome in my camp, and those people already know who they are. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, come on in, baby. We love it. Like I said, Agents of Chaos.
Agents of fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with it.
Let's see, is there any more?
Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. This is definitely going to run longer, so I know there'll probably be people coming in and out, and that's fine. So if you're catching in, this is just what we're calling Fireside Chats with the Queen. And it's going to be monthly video live chats that give you the opportunity to speak to your monarch in a anonymous way, which is why we set up the Sahara. It was not meant to be like, oh, hey, we have a Sahara now.
You don't have to be anonymous.
The easiest way to make an anonymous way.
If you're comfortable being not anonymous, please send in your comments, questions.
Send one to Queen Ziegler or myself,
or and we'll get it into the list.
Every single question we will.
Unless I'm going to do my best to answer everything I can.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd also like to give due credit and thanks to our lovely spell mistress over here taking this, image recording, this illusionary.
Without her,
wizardry,
it would be hard for us.
Which would be Zarina. Our parties are Zarina and aka Melanie Carl of the Sea Dog Nation. She is amazing and she is great at her job.
Workhorse. And
she works her butt off.
Workhorse.
It was a very difficult year this past year. I mean, barbarians burned down the sun. What? I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry. We had to do a sacrifice. The sun seemed like the biggest thing to do.
Everybody knows the Eternal Witch stole the sun.
Yeah, that's why I paid for a witch hunt.
Or, my favorite one is the demon Lamago was born, and it blacked out the sun for a bit.
Or I raised a demon king by outwitting the King of the Crossroads.
Make sure you read the comments after this. There's some pretty funny ones
there. Do you want to pitch us in some good ones?
Is there any questions?
I mean, we can take a quick commentary break. I'd love to see and have you interject with some.
It's mostly people playing a drinking game.
Don't tell us these because I want to read those afterwards.
If it's if you tell me, looks like he's about to pop out of his outfit.
No. If you tell us what the triggers are, then it ruins the we know we're being observed thing.
So, okay, did you bring it up?
Yes, I did. This is directly to the questions.
So we're going to move into the next questions. These ones are totally raw. We didn't have time to think about them. We didn't have time to not even really work on them, but just think about what we were going to say. So,
you can start from the top and work our way down. I don't care.
I'm going to go back.
I just don't want us to miss one because we can.
Okay, here we go. This is a staff question. But I just am curious how you weigh in. I've got anxiety, so does my husband. We used to camp in a vehicle with a dragon cover. If anyone doesn't know what a dragon cover is, it's basically a giant tarp or canvas that goes over a car.
It's some kind of masking for a vehicle.
For vehicles. Okay. But last season we were told privately after waiting quite a while for an answer that no vehicles on site was the rule that year. But there was no public posting. Do you favor/oppose dragons with proper covers?
So this is, I have training experience as an event coordinator, and so I'll answer both personally and from the other perspective, so that there is some level of understanding. Personally, if it's a well done cover, I don't give a shit. The ship, the Shark Bait, had an amazing dragon cover.
Tinker's Emporium.
Well, hold on. This one outdoes itself. Guy shows up, needs to be able to camp for like a night, doesn't want to set up a tent, but had spent all this time making a dragon cover that slips over his thing and it looks like a shark, huge shark, coming out of a wave to eat their ship.
He had time to make that. Yeah, he didn't want to put up a tent?
I know. It was obscene and hilarious, and you literally could not tell it was a car. Like, at all, that it was a dragon. Like, if it's well done, and you really can't tell, or if there's literally, it's just a car parked inside of a 10x20, a dragon car parked inside of a 10x20, and you can't tell it's there, I don't care. As long as it's hidden in such a way that it is not going to break my immersion, I don't care.
If I see your fucking Ford Subaru parked in front of the camp for 2 days, I will report your ass. I don't give a shit.
I know there's been cars on site like last year or so, because especially last Sea Dogs, because they were this overcapacity by planning by a landslide. But from an organizational standpoint, from a management standpoint, it really depends on agreements that you have with the site owner and the site contract. Like, there's some parks you can't have vehicles on, period.
Not to mention that last year, there was a fucking fire ban, and cars, I don't know if anybody knows this, are run by gasoline. And gasoline does what? Burns.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars that, like, they're worried because of the dryness of the temperature, that cars sitting after traveling that long, being that hot, and sitting over tall grass for an extended period of time, like especially in the check-in line, would possibly start a ground fire, and it was a threat. So they hosed it down a bit as they could and whatnot, and had people turn off their cars and restart them. But I mean,
but there it is.
It depends. You know, you just got to be able to roll with it.
Yep.
You know, anxiety. There's lots of other ways to combat adequate sleeping arrangements to help with that. You can make a more secure household. You can camp with a group that helps look out for that stuff. You can put locks on your tent. Mm-hmm. You can do a lot. There's a lot.
Next question. Do we still say Ziegler's fault?
No, you can do a Vardo. Do a Vardo, put a padlock on it. The gypsies do that, and they are super helpful. I'm building one, because I hate putting up a tent. I've learned this over a decade of this shit. I just want to show up, drop it, and go.
I mean...
And, have my own private shitter.
So let's move on. Do we still say Ziegler's fault, or do we somehow fancy it up? I like this one, because my favorite thing in the world is saying Ziegler's fault. I broke a glass last week. I said it was Ziegler's fault. It was my fault.
I'm pretty sure someone asked, why is it always Ziegler's fault?
No,
another question?
Oh, yeah. The next question is, why is it always Ziegler's fault? Let's just
why don't we tie these together? Yeah. I'll tie these together.
So why don't you tell us the history of where this fucking story came from?
Okay, who's got
in brief, I don't want your mile-long story.
Who's got an hour?
Yeah, no, in brief, 4 sentences. How did it come apart?
Massive multi-year prank war with the Ace of Ruin against myself as representative of my fleet. Culminated in them discovering that I had done a very subtle shenanigan over many, many years, and it took them far longer than I ever anticipated for them to get what my little shenanigan was. And when it got caught, there was retribution, and I got tied up in 16 Ways to Sunday to a chair, and then to me in the chair to the top of a boat, or to an oar, and then me, the chair, and the oar to the top of the boat.
That was the best time ever.
And then there was an apple tied into my mouth, so that I couldn't say anything against what was happening. I couldn't I had been retelling stories constantly to support them as entertainers and with a marketing strategy. So I'm fairly well known. But I would casually and surreptitiously re-emphasize or overemphasize certain parts of these stories and underemphasize others. So it always came out that I came out ahead. That got caught. It took them 5 years. Rather entertainingly. It took them a long time.
This is supposed to be 4 sentences.
Go just shush. And they decided that they would do something that I could not possibly win. There's no way I could turn it around and do it. So they shoved an apple in my mouth. They tied it into my mouth so I couldn't say anything. They drugged me around camp chanting, public shaming Ziegler's fault. There is, I'm loath to admit this, there is a likable page on Facebook.
You should find it.
Called Ziegler's Fault, with a video of this affair, where they blamed they called on anybody and everyone to blame anything that they wanted on me, and then, chant Ziegler's fault afterwards, and, well, oh dear, that got around. They went all the way around the party circle at Tortuga, and got back, and they took the apple out. Bonnie, former queen, I was Bonnie's hand.
Yeah.
Bonnie took the apple out of my mouth and she says, "See, now there's nothing you can say that will make you come out ahead on this." And I said, "Best marketing campaign ever! You fucking son of a bitch!" I cackle. What do you want from me, people? So, that's Ziegler's fault.
How can they fancy it up?
Oh, fancy it up. Somebody actually started a hashtag about that.
What, hashtag not my queen?
No, that's still my crown.
Oh.
It was, because somebody wanted to do this, I'll have to find. I'm somehow blanking. But Ziegler's fault's still a thing.
It's hard to fancy that up. I mean,
somebody did it perfectly, and I can't remember who did it.
Oh,
I encourage anybody that remembers the whole thing to hashtag it in the comments, if you can. I will dig it up after and throw it in the comments for everyone. There is one that's going around, and it's really good, and I'm just totally blanking on it, and I feel really bad.
Well, let's move on then.
Yep.
Real quick, so Rachel said, our teen said, now that you're queen, it's Ziegler's royal problem.
Wait, which Rachel?
Rachel Gunn.
Oh, okay. Hi,
That's
Rachel.
how you fucking fancy it up.
Ziegler's royal problem.
Ziegler's royal problem.
I'll be nice.
Oh. Thanks.
Okay, we need another bottle. All right, we need questions. We need an opinion from the audience. Are we drinking antidote? Are we drinking
antidote?
antidote?
I think antidote.
I thought we had another bottle of red.
It's open right
Oh,
now.
is it?
Yes.
Oh, we opened a white. We're gonna have to drink that too.
Well, I'm gonna keep reading red, so I'll be right back. I'll grab it. Here's your next question. Oh shit, you gotta open the magic mirror.
My spell book?
Yeah. Oh, I remember. You don't have to open it. You don't have to open the magic mirror.
Oh, okay.
The question was, how do you feel about people that don't make any effort? They show up to an event naked, meaning they're in jeans and a shirt, or they or not even
T-Rex,
not even like they're T-Rexes,
Oh.
jeans and hoodies and all that kind of stuff, and then they just walk around with a tankard.
All right, so this ties into the previous immersion policy question and answer that was done. I will say, I loathe. There's a difference between showing up and it's your first event and you just don't have anything. There's a difference between
But there's
that.
a lone guard. There's a lone guard ran by the nation.
Are you gonna let the queen have her piece?
I'm sorry, but I had to throw that in there because
There's a difference. You show up. We used to not have that program. There's now a community chess loaner guard program. It's so useful. Most camps, if you're coming as a guest of a camp, will throw some loaner garb on you. We'll have something extra. I know I've got like 16 outfits. I usually my crew.
he puts on usually
So
2.
I have 16 outfits. I really have 3 because the crew wears like 13 of them.
So why not just give it to him?
I did.
Oh, so now you just have 3.
Now I have like 4 or 5. I bought more. I had to re-up my stock. I like to change my clothes every day as much as I can. I am a pirate. I don't like being a filthy fucking pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Words to live by.
Mm-hmm.
Hygiene's important, kids.
If you hug me after 3 days of not wearing deodorant, I'll call you on your shit.
You best go clean your pits.
Oh.
Or wash your.
Oh my
your
god, there
pits.
is nothing worse than that. Actually, take that back. Your all Dickbeard's tongue on my face
That's a thing.
is worse than
There's drunk Nick's tongue in your ear.
that's fucked.
Yeah, that was bad.
Anyway,
He wants to tell you a secret. Never asked you a secret.
My point on it is that the T-Rex thing, it can be funny at times, I guess. If there's
It's
a
funny
moment.
the first time. It has been so many times past the
Yeah.
first time.
Try something new. There's shit out there. Go try something
You know,
new.
I at this point, without an official immersion policy, I encourage everyone to see what they can get away with until we get an immersion policy of minor substance, at least.
All right.
But there's a difference between showing up and like at least making an effort. You know, throw on some darker pants or some pajama pants instead of jeans. Throw on a t-shirt, rip the buttons off. I don't care.
There is ways to make garb happen if you don't know how to do it. There is a great resource that was started by the nation. It is.
There's also
it's on the
online
CDOG garb and.
loaner garb and community chess.
Well, no, there's also one online, like on Facebook.
Oh, so it's a garb and /CDOG Nation garb / costuming
yes,
Facebook group.
yes.
They're gonna have tons of ideas for how you. That's what I was getting into is to cannibalize old clothes, to do stuff, to make an outfit at low budget, low cost, to at least get you started. And then there is innumerable ways to go from there, and there's people that can help you design a character or a theme or do a lot of that stuff. I've done too many hours of research.
I started out with
and really not enough.
a stolen shirt when I did Christmas Carol. It was one of the fluffy shirts. That's all I had. And I had an Old Navy bag that was canvas. And I had that, and I borrowed a pair of pants. And I wore moccasins. Target moccasins. For 3 or 4 years.
I went to the Goodwill. I found a pair of crappy knee-high, calf-high boots.
Were they ladies?
Yes.
Did they have the heel?
They not a huge heel. They had a heel like this, regular heel. A pair of pajama pants, a shirt that I slashed the sleeves off to get a cap shoulder, and ripped the buttons off and did a sash. And then I
wouldn't suggest cap sleeves. Cap sleeves don't usually look good on anyone.
Well, it was a thing. It was in fashion that year at Sea Dogs.
Cap sleeves have never been in fashion.
That year at Sea Dogs, when I started over a decade ago, they were. Go away. A sash and a plain black women's duster, and a pirate hat that I picked up, and it looked fabulous. I got a lot of compliments, and it cost me all of like $40, $20-$40. It was easy.
Mm-hmm.
I made an effort. It worked.
Let's move into the next question.
We actually have a quick question from the audience.
Woo! I like
Tiger Rose is asking, has there been any resolution to the titles issue we have been talking about?
This queen has no idea.
I will make the official announcement. I am stepping down from titles this year. It's a lot for me to take on.
What?
I have a whole house to run.
I know. I stole him. He's my royal advisor now. Fuck off.
I'm doing the queen. I'm working with the queen. It's just... I could go into it, but the job, it's a lot of work, and I love every single bit of it, but it's too much for me, and so I have asked for Zarina, Melanie Carl, who's filming tonight, to take my space, and for Tiger Rose, who is in the audience, to be part of it, because I think those two ladies
I have a question.
can run it. Yeah.
What contributed to your decision to need to step down?
My decision to step down was that there's a lot of interference from a member of the bod, and who is usually autocrat, and I just couldn't, it's hard to run something when you feel like every time you come up with a really good idea that can simplify your life in running this, and you're met with no, this is how it's done. And even though this is my hobby, this is my fun time, and it's not my job. I don't make money doing this, and so at the end of the day, I have to go, okay, my happiness in enjoying this hobby.
Insanity. Yeah.
Or hating life, hating going to this, feeling like I have to do this because I have to, that to me was like, fuck it. It's not important to me. Actually it is. I mean, titles is important to me, but my happiness and all that was much more important to me, so.
Your ability to enjoy the event was
I had to step down, and so everyone know you'll be well taken care of.
I think that's been a running theme with Sea Dogs over the years, is that there's a certain autocrat that burns through staff by putting fingers in pies, twiddling it around, and then walking away, and not understanding the aftermath of his input.
Well, let's move on. So, but thank you for the question, Tiger. I know you'll do well. You're amazing. Next question, and this one is Double Jeopardy!
Oh,
it's a
shit.
bitchy one.
Fuck.
So it goes, you have no power in or say in real matters. Just remember that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is trying to take my lack of chill away.
Someone's going, here's my dick.
Just
It's bigger than yours.
They're just trying to give me more cause to have more chill and less chill. So let's go full Ice Queen on that.
Can I, before you say your thing, I want to make a quick statement. Is when it was my last year during my reign, I had a lot of this. People would say this shit all the time, and there's nothing more makes you want to work harder actually, and makes you pissed as somebody saying you aren't really that important, or you really. You know what? Fuck you, first off. And who are you? Usually they're people who never spoken to me, don't know really who I am or what I've done, anything. They just see the fancy hat.
Mind you,
and
we
they
have
wanna
no
come
idea
at
who
it.
these people are asking.
No, I have no
These
idea.
are all
so
anonymous. They could be bot members. I don't know. Don't give a shit. I'm gonna answer.
don't care.
So
that was my thing. It's you can make your statement, but at the end of the
I'm
day,
going to go full Ice Queen on this question.
you can go ahead.
I have no real power. I don't think you understand what the Crown as a national institution has been becoming. I don't think that there's a full understanding. Maybe, yeah, I'm going to be a little bit of a bitch on this one. I don't think there's a full grasp of understanding about how this social club of ours works, how this community works. Is we are driven by the community's involvement, the membership's involvement in putting things on, and the community has as much of a say in this nation. It has been demonstrated that the community has as much of a say in how things run as it wants to by demonstrating what it values to be important.
Right.
As a national institution, as voted in us with a mandate, can we get our lovely Serena some booze here? As queen, I'm as an elected, one of the few elected persons in the nation. I come in with a bit of a mandate. It depends on what my platform is. Mine is immersion, community, and gameplay. And under that community tagline, that there are some important questions and challenges facing this nation, and I have a lot of knowledge, experience, and training and skill in navigating those waters, and I intend to fully utilize those to the nation's benefit. Some people may not agree with what I think or how I feel, but from an operational standpoint, I think the proof is going to be in the pudding.
Yes, and at the end of the day, to say that there is no power, that is such a lie.
It strips value out. To say that simply strips value out of the national institution that you guys put value into, and I think it's short-sighted to make a comment like that.
It is, and to say you have no say is rubbish. You have a lot to say. You help. We help with a lot of things as monarchs. And
I've been a senior staff member multiple times. I've been a volunteer.
People don't see it. People don't know what goes on.
I'm a major camp leader, and I'm an advocate for positive change. I think that people are going to be surprised at how much I intend to leverage my national title.
And I will say this to this person who wrote this question: reach out. Reach out to your monarchs and find out what we do and find out
bring it.
What goes into the work of doing this. You could say that about anybody in power. They have no power. Yeah, you could say that about anybody. I mean, it
power
really
is given to the people based on the belief that they have it, by the people they serve.
Right.
So they
moving on. Point being,
yeah, we can get pretty salty about this one. Salt. Where's that salt shaker? I want to take a shower.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. Which we go right back into. Well, the last three are Double Jeopardy ones. So
Jesus Christ, 3 Double Jeopardies in a row? How many? There's only 2 Double Jeopardies.
Well, this one is going into overtime. So
Jesus Christ.
This next question is, hey, try staying functional this year and not repeat last year's queen, drunken stupidity.
No, I'm taking this one.
All right. Well, I have something to say after.
That's nice, but I'm taking the lead on this one. I'm queen. I don't know who you are, but I'm Ziegler, and if you thought that could get a drunken mess, bitch, hold my beer, hold my wine. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get on, because I make no promises. I'll do my best to stay functional, but we're all here in the end to have fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoy myself. Go fuck yourself.
And here's my answer to you. You can suck my ass. Okay? That's it.
I work my ever-loving fucking ass off all year round for benefit. I want to have fun with people, and I'm going to do that. And I'm not hurting anybody by getting drunk.
Right.
Not at the fucking 2 a.m. at the event. Work time's over. It's party time, angry mob.
They can just fuck right off. They can just fuck right off with that question.
That is the big Queen No Chill answer.
So, actually, no, this next one is not bad. I take it back. So, the next one is, what is your plan as Queen to try and help bring the nation together as a whole?
So, this fits all up in my platform, immersion, community, gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see those as distinctly different columns or tiers of things to address. I see them as realms and zones of concern, and I think there's a lot of overlap on all of those. I've got a number of programs. I've got a lot of programs being put together. I've made some official announcements, but the big one is I intend to be able to, on New Year's Day, announce a full list of all of my hands. So unlike last year, where Queen Andros had one hand saddled with a mountain of work, I have a royal advisor who helps oversee all of my myriad hands, because hands made up of a lot of fingers. So I got a lot of fingers and hands in different pots. But they're all working on one or more of these projects, these areas of concern with different projects. They include, but are not limited to, Christine Princehouse, who's working on community and immersion.
Yep.
We have, she is my Valkyrie. We have my Morrigan. That was Bones, by the way. We have my Morrigan Shots, or Elizabeth Graham, both of whom are from the Kraken's Revenge. And Shots is working on gameplay and community with different shenanigans and stuff we're going to be doing. And a lot of gameplay, a lot of the thematic elements. That giant photo shoot demonstrating the ritual I used against the Witch Eternal. That was all her photography, thank you very much. She does a great job. Helped me set the stage and the scene. So we're looking for a lot more of that. And Queen Andros has got a really cool Cedo Nation-like story, kind of video thematic story that he wants to do, that I'm super excited about, and that there's been a lot of movement on, a lot of participation on, doing actual filming in character, in garb, on locations. It's gonna be fucking awesome. I've read the scripts. Super tight, super fun.
We have so far we have a cast of 20, and we have a staff of 50 working on it.
Shay Dravenmore
crazy.
Is working on all 3 columns. She is my newly appointed hand. I appointed this past couple weeks ago, on the beginning of December. She's helping fold her the raffle for the volunteer raffle into Royal Concern. The Crown's going to help support her doing that and find other ways to support them. It's a program. She already does a program that supports the community, that supports everything. Why wouldn't the Crown get in on helping that if that's the intent?
It's true.
Work with to future Crowns. Word of advice. Work with as many existing program people as possible to build on what's already available, because it continues existing momentum and it will make your life a lot less fucking hard. Just saying. I've got a couple of hands in my crew, my fleet, that are building some cool elements for the game. I am working with 2 secret hands to do a huge brand new auction that will incorporate elements from the free agent procurement or FAP program, that will work with the customs house, that will work with the banks, that will do a number of different benefits, but it's a brand new type of auction. It's a shenanigans auction. And the consortium is going to be coming in fully into its own as the alleged fence that we have always built ourselves to be.
Okay.
And, well, that's where you can go fence your ill-gotten goods for some ill-gotten gains. And not have direct repercussions back on you.
Sounds a little underground.
Well, if you start robbing people, bring them to us. We will auction them back off to their owner. And you will get, rather than a prescribed cut, you'll get potentially a much bigger cut. Because someone might want that item more than the owner wants it. And then the owner can deal with them.
So there's a few ways that he's bringing the nation together.
Oh, all kinds of ways. There's a laundry list. Andres has been working with me on a couple. These right here is a big one. Mm-hmm. Being able to have conversations with your national representative, elected representative. Game on. I think participation, involvement, and transparency are important. Let's bring it. I try to. I know I can be super salty. We had that question earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm super salty. But I'm a get through that crusty exterior, and I'm a giant fucking sweetheart inside. Spend any more than 5 minutes, and you'll know that. And I encourage anyone to approach me. And really, it's like, oh, you licked one lick, and you're in the center of that gooiness.
Well,
that's usually because the liquor absorbs a lot of that salt.
We're gonna move on to the next question, because the next question is the last Double Jeopardy question of the night.
Oh.
And it's a big one. So, this question came in, and it said, point blank, how do you feel about what Deb said during the last BOD meeting about not caring what the community had to say or feel?
I think that this question ties into a previous one. I think that it demonstrates a woeful lack of understanding about constituency as a board member. As a board member, she is representative not of specific person's interests or protection. She should be representing the whole organization and clubs and its memberships, her constituencies, well-being and benefit and protection. And I think that that statement alone demonstrates that she does not understand the core concept of her position and should be addressed as soon as possible.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Fireside Chat with the Queen.
I thought there was more questions.
No, we got through them.
Are there any from the live stream?
Anybody in the live stream, you have the last minute to say something.
Okay, you can tell us the drinking game now.
But
I want to hear this. They can see our reaction.
We're ending it.
Why not?
Because it's getting on late, and I want to.
He has to.
You don't want to know the word?
Yes.
Yes.
It was queen.
Oh, that was that should have been obvious.
Yeah.
Oops. So, thank you all for joining us. I look forward to seeing more questions, comments, concerns, chit chat, and everything in participation at the next one. I believe either I'll be down in another southern tour, or my fleet is, the northern end of my fleet is eager to host one, and they want to ask some of their own questions. Mm-hmm. They also want to pull out and ambush me with more from the crowd. So I don't know if I'll get as much forward review to look at answers. I will say, I answered every question that came in. I actually was hesitant about that because of the potential for some pretty.
Some of the questions were harsh. I mean, not even harsh. They're just serious matters.
Some pretty potential for some like point blank ass hattery, and I've discovered tonight that I think if I'm going to value transparency, I'm going to value being able to answer and approachability. I'm going to value being able to answer all of those as best I can or in a manner. I will say that some of them I will seek to prepare something because they're sensitive. I don't want. I'm not trying to be so tactful that I'm being a political monster or something, but there are certain things that just they need to be addressed appropriate in a certain level of appropriateness.
I agree.
And I'm going to be as direct and truthful as I possibly can. I hope I was tonight to everyone. I hope I answered everyone's the spirit of everyone's questions. And I look forward to hearing more and seeing more of all of you very soon. ROC Yule is this weekend up in Tacoma.
Yes. Please support the Realm of Chivalry. They have always supported us.
Realm of Chivalry is a great sister organization up in the Northern Reach, in the Tacoma Puget Sound area. And new King Paul Risenglass and Queen Terja are going to be having a grand old fucking time. Their Yule is always a blast. They do a gift exchange. It's pretty crazy every year, and it's family friendly. And there's booze. People do up their tables and do it like a huge holiday thing. A lot of people bring like I think potlucks of crock pot things, and they also cook food, and it's a fun.
It's a great time. So
super fun. Oh, and for all of the others that are not that want a slightly more adult affair, there is a EMP event this Saturday as well. It's their kind of Yule event. God, what's the name of it? I'll put it in the comments. I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to remember it because now I suddenly have to be.
Yeah, I know. So. Everyone, it's been great. Thank you so much for joining us. We cannot wait to do this again. And
love you
we
all.
look forward to more of your questions. Anything and everything from requests, demands.
If I didn't answer
questions.
anything to what you wanted to know, please send it in the next round or ask me personally before then.
Challenges.
Or
even.
both.
Yeah. Guys.
I don't know about challenges.
It's been great.
Challenges concern.
Yeah, no, they're great. Guys, it's been great. See you guys. Bye. Bye.